Yo, what up, people? How is everyone doing? Go ahead. Come on in. Let's talk. Let's talk about this for a second. Hope everyone's Sunday evening is gone well. Hope your day was even better. What else? Conflict as usual, right? And to talk about some things that's been going on. Just waiting on you guys to get on in here. I've been doing good. Kind of just, laying low. Got my TikTok back. Had to fight that like I was Johnny Cochran. So they restored my page or my account. But that was a process. So yeah, don't know why they attempted to permanently ban me, but they tried it. Now whether it worked, you know, am I gonna bounce back from this? Sure, sure. I still got all my followers. I still got my people. Hey, Steve, what's up? You in here at the beginning? All right. It's gonna be a good show. You're in here. I'm sure of it. All right. So, all right, let's go ahead and get into this. All right. It's been a weird week. Nonetheless, it's been an interesting week. All right. Now, I did some videos, whatnot. So we do know that the 26 Marines are on their way or already there. We do know that Gaza's already, not Gaza, but excuse me, the Israelis have started their ground attack. We do know that Yemen's involved. We do, Hezbollah has spoken, I believe, a couple of days ago. Everyone's essentially condemning Israel and basically saying, hey, America, ease up, or, there'll be consequences. We know right now North Korea is basically arming Russia right now. We got a lot of players in the game. We got a lot of stuff going on right now. All right. Now, inside of America, just I don't want to generalize that and breathe by it, excuse me. But I do want to say something about inside of America. Now, we know in Lewiston, Maine, that we had the mass shooting, rest all those souls and whatnot. Now, the story on that is just all over the place right now, all right? You guys can't really believe that whole story. It's going to be hard to believe that story, all right? Now, we heard it. Now, I had said earlier when it was going down that there were three different images. I'm not going to post the images, I'm not getting into that. But I did have it in my Telegram. Go look it's in there. Three different images of this gentleman. The person that they're showing is allegedly a mentally unstable veteran who was released from a psych ward right before it. Nobody listened to the warnings. Nobody did anything. This is the outcome of what happened. Okay. Now in Colorado, all right. Now something happened in Carbondale, Colorado, at this theme park, and this young gentleman, I did not get his name, but he is 20 years old. He was, let's say, he was a Hispanic gentleman. Just, I try to teeter the line right now, but he is a Hispanic gentleman. All right. And they found him unalived in a women's bathroom at a theme park while dressed in tactical gear and with weapons, ARs. He has C4, some fake, some not fake. All right, his message on the wall was, "I'm not a killer. I just wanted to see the case." Why do I mention this? I mention it for a couple of reasons. Everything about that smells, stinks. It's rotten and it's foul. All right. Before I play this video that I did, posted it on my page, on all the pages. I want to say that whoever put that gentleman up to that, I hope you rotten shit. And I'm gonna say this out loud because if you guys don't believe in the MK Ultra or the false flags, the lone wolves, the crisis actors, shame on you because these people are real, and this is another point to it. This is another point. Tell you why. While there's no real information on or background on this gentleman that attempted to do this naturally, it has to be said that he's 20 years old. He had IEDs and all this stuff. That's not something everyone can do. Like, I'm gonna call a spade a spade. That's not something that everyone can do, even if they are fake. Think about the photo op in the news press, the press that it would get that they found these devices located all around the park, and this gentleman, after he's committed said atrocity, to scare the hell out of everybody. Because again, I've always said that they can't fake this shit. Some things they can't fake. They can fake the intent, they can fake the reason, but they can't fake the outcome. They can try, but the outcome is atrocity propaganda. Okay. Now, had this actually went through, and the moment that we found out that this gentleman was of the southern border descent, where does America erupt at? And as far as taking away 2A, where we see the play come from up top, from the Capitol Hill and the president, because I guarantee you, if this gentleman had carried it out, they would have, it'd have been a State of the Union address. There'd have been sweeping gun legislation. There'd have been so much happening. There'd have been all types of events. And yet this man, honorable man, I'm gonna be honest, honorable for the fact that if it is true that he unalived himself because he couldn't go through with it, that man is a noble individual, and that's all I can say. Because if he didn't, he goes through with it, it's probably one of the deadliest attacks on U.S. soil in American history, or they're going to label it that. We've had so many, but they always spin it as the deadliest such and such in American such and such. And it gets the press run it gets. And I'm not trying to sit here and poke fun at anyone who's been affected by these events, but what I'm saying is how many times do we get to see curtain pulled back on an event, and we see the wizard's shoes because someone put him up to it. Who did it? Who's guilty? How much money was he paid? He said he just wanted to see the cave. So was there a promise? Did someone say, hey, well, you get to see the caves while you're in here, and you just do this for us? This stuff is either real or it's all fake, or it's a little bit of both. It's for me. I take everything with a grain of salt. I try to make sure I read through and see if the signs are there, like the quick press runs, the quick mentions in the news. It's a lot. It's a few occasions, a lot of times where you won't hear it. It'll happen, but you didn't hear about it. But it's very questionable, and this is one of the more questionable ones. And this is at the time where you're getting intelligence awareness reports out of San Diego saying that they know for a fact Hezbollah and Hamas have crossed the border. This is also saying that there is alleged. When you say alleged, I'm not gonna do this to y'all, but alleged, there are a group of Afghani coming across the border. Why? Because they're being displaced in Pakistan right now. So that's a situation brewing in itself. Like, I don't want to seem like the parrot, or the dead horse. I'm sorry for the stutter. I'm trying to think of a good analogy. I don't want to keep beating the dead horse about this, but people, this is real. We've seen the news reports where they're saying people are searching for big boy weapons, like 249s, and drums and stuff like that. They're asking for third party buyers or third party sellers, whatever, and they're saying that it's migrants. I'm not saying they're the only ones doing it, but I'm saying it's astonishing that they're all coming across and they're getting money, cell phones, civil services, and they're just disappearing off the grid. In Albert Pike, Arkansas, a bus broke down, and it's like 60 or 80 migrants just walking around right now because the bus broke down in Albert Pike, Arkansas. I would like to say that again, that the bus broke down in Albert Pike, Arkansas. If you know who Albert Pike is, then me saying Albert Pike, Arkansas will resonate with you. It's a coincidence that they dropped them off in Albert Pike, Arkansas. I mean, if this is symbolism, we're all watching and we're seeing what's going on, then take the symbolism for what it is. This is happening. It's real. All right. Steve says you're right. Set up for bad news, but thank goodness he saw the light. I'm so weird about this situation because this is one of the first times where it's kind of like I think you guys kind of dropped the ball on this one and something went wrong because this is the only way you could have spent it or spunt it. Excuse me. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this video for you guys. All right. Quick video. It's only a minute. We're early into the show. I like to try to get these out the way. All right.
Hey, what's going on? This is real, right? You probably didn't hear about this on the news. You're not going to hear about it on the news. It's not being plastered anywhere right now because of course, overseas affairs. Colorado man with explosives wearing tactical gear dies at Glenwood Caverns Adventure Park. Let's get into this. All right, this man was identified as 20 years old from a nearby town in Carbondale. Officials didn't officially release his name. Cause of death has not been released, but that's not true. A lot of other tabloids and media sources are saying he himself just to, get out of it. Noble of him to do that, considering what he was probably planning. His body was found in a restroom with a message written on the wall. Says, "I'm not a killer, I just want to get in the caves." All right, this is some rabbit hole stuff. Now, what's the chances of someone being paid to cause a reaction? False flag event, some type of commotion cause, big event, and it's the last strike and they take everything from us because, they've already halted the export of firearms for 90 days. They shut down one of the ammunitions for official government contracts only. So let's see the real picture here. Like we've talked about this. I couldn't tell you if it was a border situation or not, or he's one of those people, but I could tell you he was up to no good. All right, and whoever put him up to it was also up to no good. So keep your head on the swivel. Be smart. If you see something, say something. It's the Daily Rabbit.
Hey, I'm back. All right. Now, the correct term in this situation, a lot of you would like to use would maybe be MK Ultra, correct? But there's another term that I like to use that I call a Manchurian candidate. A person propped up through programming to conduct events through hidden symbolism triggers, right? Kind of like Bucky from Marvel. Bucky from Marvel, the Winter Soldier is a Manchurian candidate. He's under the MK Ultra program, correct? But he's what we would call a Manchurian candidate. Now, with the Manchurian candidate, the triggers for that person could be anything as a polka dot dress, as we've heard back in the day with the RFK assassination, or it could be anything like I assume for the Aurora, Colorado shooting, the Batman movie, the Joker, some type of trigger, some type of words, codes, something thrown in. But every now and then, something goes wrong and the person snaps out of it. Now, I don't know what makes a person snap out of that because I've never actually been involved with anything like that, and we've only just heard of it. And we assume that certain cases we've seen throughout history are MK Ultra Manchurian candidates. Kaczynski, Manson, Stanford University. These names and these things that I say are known about the community, and we know that it's real. Like we say we know, but through research and understanding and viewing different events, there's a conclusion that there's something wrong. Steve Overman, he says, "Hey, let's cut the shit. This is all Alphabet Boy mischief." He's not wrong. He's not wrong because all these programs are real. Surface level, you can research them. You can look them up. MK Ultra. I'm not saying anything crazy. Manchurian Candidate. It was a movie with Denzel Washington back in the day. If you've seen Conspiracy Theory with Mel Gibson, that's another one. All right. This idea has been out for a while. This isn't anything new. We've seen it in all the movies where they got like in the James Bond movies, and they be like, "We're gonna use the truth serum," and they like, you know what I'm saying? They put the shot, he start telling the truth. This isn't anything unheard of. It's not unheard of. So when we look at 2023 and we look at how advanced everything is from the television, tell a lie, to predictive programming and atrocity propaganda and narrative pushing and war propaganda and feel good propaganda. There's so much out there that how do we know that a person's mind isn't being set up for something, or the person just thought that he was going to go, go to the caves and got set up? I don't know, but what I'm saying about all of this is that I'm ringing the flag. I'm pulling this horn. Beep beep, honk honk. There's a problem. There's an undeniable problem right now. We can't find the ammonium nitrate that disappeared out of nowhere. Even though people are like, yeah, there's a logical explanation for that. We can't sit here and act like we forgot about all the derailments out of nowhere. East Palestine still hasn't recovered. They still haven't recovered. We still can't act like Maui didn't happen, and we may have had another situation in Acapulco, Mexico, where this tropical storm went from a tropical storm to a Category 5 in under 8 hours. And I saw that tabloid, I saw that headline come across my phone, but it was one of those days that I wasn't really trying to go through it, but I saved it and went back and read it. So Acapulco may have been an attack on itself, and we don't know. Again, there's so much going on right now. Slew of earthquakes last week, right? Slew of earthquakes. Like there's rumblings in the world. There's birth pains. There's cries of war. There's worries of of another pandemic. And I'm here to say that be careful with the narrative, because they're pushing that to see what we'll bite on. It's like a hook. We're the fish. And they're like, all right, we're going to dangle something out. We're going to dangle something out. We're going to see what does it. They can't dangle Ukraine anymore because they're talking about a ceasefire with Ukraine right now. Search it. They have to cease fire with them. They can't fund them. They're losing, and then try to fund Israel from getting, hopefully they don't get slaughtered out there. Because Israel's in a scary place. Israel's not that. And if you believe they were, just because you beat up women and children don't make you that. Israel's not that. Heads up with Hezbollah. I'm going to be honest. They know that. That's why America's there. That's why they're dropping off troops. That's why everyone's getting ready. That's why there's so much going on. That's why, to everything I'm about to say. That's why. If you want to know what Israel's trying to do, Israel's going to carpet bomb Gaza and all that, and sit here trying to do a ground invasion and still probably lose, because they're going to take waves of resistance from every group in the region. So America can't fund Ukraine and knowing the fight that they're about to have. So see, this is what's happening. Russia was testing itself. This is why they called it an exercise. They were just this is what you see when you're testing your strength for the first time. Because Russia wasn't really proven. I mean, yeah, Russia went to war in 81, but with the help of America, Afghanistan beat the shit out of Russia. It took 4 years, but they beat the shit out of them. Ended up bankrupting the whole entire Soviet Union and ended up becoming what we have now, Russia. Led to some regime changes, and then this is how Putin came in, about 99, I believe. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. I feel like it was very early. Maybe 99. But we're seeing it again. And this time, Putin came correct. And I'm not a Putin fan, but this is just strategy 101. He sent his first wave in to test it out because, truth be told, there were people around his border. He's not lying about that. You can go look on PBS, go through their documentaries of 2021, 2022, mainly 2021. And you can see where they have videos and they're showing they're running exercises along the Russian border. This is why I'm telling everyone we're all being played right now, because Trump was president when that happened. Not even 2020. It might be before that. Excuse me. It might be 2018. I could be wrong, guys. All right. I want to say it's 2018, 2019, but it led into 2020. 2021, they began. Like, Putin understood what they were doing. So Ukraine, if you guys believe in the history of Ukraine, you know history. Ukraine is to be the most corrupt nation in the world, a corrupt sovereign country, or the most corrupt place in the world besides us in Israel. It's like top three, right? So Putin sent in his scrubs in. He sent the Wagner group in because the Wagner group alone could beat the Ukrainians, but old buddy got the money and tried to double back, on Putin, and we see how that ended. It didn't go well for that gentleman, did it? His plane went down mysteriously. All right. So Putin's been dragging out this war, slowly bleeding out America because Ukraine can't fight. Ukraine's never been in a real conflict. And to be honest, is it true? Yeah, they're full of Nazis. The Azovs, excuse me, full of Nazis. It's true. Ukrainian Azovs. What I'm trying to say was that America in the world is stretched thin. Ukraine was the war to get everyone involved, but that wasn't working. That was a business plan, and no one in America actually cares about Ukraine. Most people didn't know what Ukraine was. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. All right, let's get into some quick comments. Steve says, and don't forget the Mossad, Israel version of the CIA. Oh yeah, we're gonna get into Mossad. We're gonna talk about them too. Just kind of briefing everybody, catching everyone up. Steve Overman says Acapulco was a direct hit. So, Steve, this is what I'm going to say. The habits that are shown in certain events around the world tell you what's going on. Right now in Acapulco, aid is not allowed into the city. The Red Cross is holding aid. They held aid in Lahaina, and everyone's not allowed to go talk to the news. There's a complete blackout in Acapulco right now. This is why you're not hearing about nothing. If you don't believe me, go look it up. You're going to have to go through some small sites because the major sites really aren't covering Acapulco like that. So I'll say that because, they're still trying to clean up the Maui situation. Still trying to clean up that whole thing. All right. Brandy said there's not one written law that says we have to pay taxes. IRS, no federal law, no federal taxes. Show me written law. Am I wrong? No, you're not wrong. You just get straight to it. Damn it, I'm tired of paying taxes. I ain't mad at you. I just watched this today, 1912. I got to check that out. And Yvette says, hey, Yvette, how you doing tonight? She said, I heard Zelensky surrendered and asked to meet with Trump, and he denied it. He denied it. I saw that. I look, man, I was going to wait to let that one play out. I was going to maybe catch you guys with that on a Wednesday and see how that played out. I didn't think anybody else saw that. Y'all nosy like me, man. Look, he denied him. He wants to meet and have a conversation and discuss how to get Putin off his ass right now. Because America's cut it dry to him. All that crying in the UN General Assembly, all them little detours in America coming to D.C. and kissing old Sleepy Joe's ass, it ain't work. The well is dry. The horse is dead. America is not beating that dead horse. Ukraine has fallen. It's over. There's nothing left. Everyone's sitting here talking about Ukraine kicking ass. Okay. Yeah, okay. You believe that you want to. Yeah, Brandy, he said he wants to go help Israel. He can't help Ukraine. He didn't lost that shit. I told y'all, it's a cold world. He gonna lose that one. I told you. I'll say it. Is it petty? Probably. But I told y'all, that ain't gonna go well. They gonna lose that one because Ukraine ain't that. Ukraine ain't that. They're just dirty. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. It's just pure dirt. They don't have any ability. They're ungoverned for real. Zelensky's a damn actor who played a president in a conflict situation. Like Zelensky's the equivalent to what's that TV show? The Designated Survivor. That's Zelensky. That's exactly how he tried to play that shit and end up getting them folks slaughtered out there. That just unfortunately, the truth hurts, man. Zelensky, he did all that begging, he did all that crying, he did all that whining, he wore all that damn ugly ass green because it scored well with the press and the views, and it still didn't work. Now he want to go help Israel. Shit, you might as well. You done lost Ukraine. You can kiss that shit goodbye. You can kiss all that shit inside of Ukraine. The grain, the oil, the natural gas. Your little nasty child trafficking facilities. That stuff. The bio labs. All that's gone. That shit gone. That's over. Them people over there might as well go and become Russian. That little man thought he was going to win that against Russia. If y'all, for the people out there, before I say this, I want y'all to share this. I want y'all to share it, share it, share it, share it. What I'm about to say is this. That little man really thought he stood a chance against Russia. Ukraine, all they did was hold weapons and reserves and dirt. They didn't do anything special. Yeah, they contribute to the grain, but they were getting pennies on the dollar on that. If it was that great, their country would have been flourishing. Steve is absolutely right. U.S. spent a lot of money in equipment into Ukraine to get thousands to die on the battlefield. Man, they slaughtered them boys. Y'all don't understand, man. I ain't saying y'all, but the other people who don't understand how this war game works, man. I'm not saying I understand. I study. I didn't get out there in the trenches. I study these wars, man. They were getting slaughtered. The news didn't want to talk about it. That's why they didn't talk about it a whole lot, because there were a lot of days that it was rough out there. It was so bad, all the news agencies had to stop going out there. We can't cover this. They're getting done wrong. So what they do? What would tug at the strings of America? Israel. It wasn't Maui. It wasn't like Maui tug at the strings of America. It's not like the borders tugging at the strings of America. It's not like we're tugging at the strings of America. Hell, but damn Israel tugging at the strings of America. And here's the funny part about the people in Israel. The Israelis hate Bibi. If you don't know who Bibi is, that's Benjamin Netanyahu, but they call him Bibi. So you know what I'm gonna call him? I'm gonna call him Bibi because I feel like I've talked about him enough. We on a personal level. I'm gonna call his ass Bibi. This whole shit show, people, you're looking at a big ass board game of Monopoly. This is all this is. It's just played out in real life, and it sucks. It's absolutely horrible. Now, as we watch Israel conduct their own 9/11 and deal with their own 9/11, I always word it that way for a reason. Bibi has basically said there's no ceasefire unless Hamas leaves the land, which we know that's not happening anytime soon. All right. They don't want to send them into Egypt because that would be ethnically cleansing them. You don't want to keep them in the land because, the Israeli government's a piece of shit. And right now that I'm hearing, I don't know how true it is, but I am hearing that they're looking to forgive Egypt's debt if they accept the Gaza people, the Palestinian people. I ain't gonna say Gaza because they're Palestinians. The Palestinian people, the ones on the Gaza Strip, they would like to send them to Egypt, and they're gonna forgive Egypt's debt. Let's pay attention to Egypt because right now Egypt's in the middle of a sweet, terrible deal, sweet and sour deal. If they agree to this, it goes one way for the country of Israel. All right, because what happens is now that you get the people out and you do keep them in Egypt, there's nothing keeping anyone back from going in Israel. The only thing keeping all the neighboring countries around from going into all of Israel are the people, the Palestinians. Otherwise, they'd already went in there. How do we know? History. Look at 2003 to now, last 20 years. The Muslims are a fighting force. I'm not going to sit here and deny this. The Israelis are not a fighting force. The Muslims are, though. And as a whole, is a very dangerous fighting force. So they're running a risk of dealing with everybody. Afghanistan is on the way over there. Afghanistan has already got safe passage through, I want to say, Pakistan. Not the militants. They're trying to get rid of all the extras, but there's safe passage coming through Pakistan. And this is why I mentioned the whole Pakistani issue with the Afghani right now. It's for this very reason, is that they are getting the Taliban are getting a safe passage through to go to Israel. They're on it too. And of course, who funded them? Maybe it was the $9 billion worth of equipment we left there. Everyone's like, well, it was all defective. Does that not mean you can't fix it and make it effective? I don't. I'm not saying these people they can't do anything, but I'm saying a couple Toyotas and some good equipment, they're a lot more organized than they were before this. All right, Darren, thank you for that. So they got a safe passage through somewhere, and I'm not sure where. I know I saw that. Could be wrong. Thank you for that. Now, if they do get that safe passage through and they do come through, what is Israel supposed to do? This is why prophecy is coming out, and this is why we're talking about big weapons and nuclear. Jordan, thank you, Darren. I'm not well versed. I got to get better. I appreciate that, my guy, but thank you for that. All right, he says it's Jordan. He's absolutely correct. Thank you for that, sir. So if they get that safe passage, and we know the Jordanians are kind of stuck in the middle too. So how's this gonna go? Hezbollah's sitting strong. Hamas is kind of small. Israel needs help through America, and they got a lot of help. 12,000 troops. If you guys don't understand how much damage 12,000 troops can do, 12,000 troops is a helping hand, including the 900 in Iraq and Syria right now because they're kind of launching missiles at each other too right now. Let's not forget in parts of Africa, they're going through their conflict and their civil coup or the civil unrest due to a coup with France and other NATO countries. It's a lot going on right now. It's a lot going on. So, with that said, we come all the way back to America now, right? I haven't got on China and Taiwan. We're going to come back to them. They're next up. But in America right now, we have individual attacks and we have a whole new border situation. I say a whole new border situation is because there's another push coming through, another migrant caravan. And I got a hot conversation going right now in my comments. Darren says against Turkey, Syria, and Iran plus Russia, 12,000 ain't nothing. It's not. I didn't add Turkey in for that reason because I haven't mentioned Turkey because one, I don't know much about Turkey. To be honest, I've been looking into them more and more since I've been learning about them. I understand that they got a really strong ground unit for their military and they got a pretty respectable air force. I do know. Um, do they join it? I don't know, Darren. I honestly don't know if they're going to really jump their hand in this fight. It's I can see why they want to. You know, we've talked about the direct hits. We know about the earthquake that happened in Turkey. That's not last year, but earlier this year. They had that huge earthquake, and we know the information that came out about that. We know that was a whole other modified HARP program, DARPA, direct energy weapon kind of situation. Believe it or not, I don't know. I wasn't there, but that's the reports that I'm getting. All right. Now, does Turkey do it? I don't know. If Turkey jumps in, then that changes the ball game because Turkey's a lot of help. If Iran actually moves their units, that's a lot more help. North Korea is going to give them ammo that's extreme. That's more help. That's a lot for America to handle and dealing with Taiwan. I did not know that. The turkey drone, they shot a turkey drone a few months ago over Syria. I did not know that. Honestly, didn't know that one. I missed that. So this is what we're saying. It's kinetic. If no one wants to say the hard part, I will. I do think this is World War III. A lot of people want to whisper it. They want to act like it's not happening. All the world wars started with smaller little proxy wars, and then it manifested into something greater as the conflicts arise. Whether the conflicts were forced or the conflicts were accidental, the conflicts were that they happened. They all started with small little proxy wars and small little Cold War wars, and started talking about each other. And then it got a little hot, and then it went kinetic, and then here we are. All right. Hey, everyone is saying I'm going through these comments, man. Steve says Turkey has a formidable army and are mostly Muslim. I did not know that. I'm like I said, I'm naive to certain things. I don't want you guys to think like I know. I don't. Like a lot of this, I'm learning and going through the information with you guys, and I'm putting my own perspective on it and understanding on it. But I did not know Turkey's military was mostly Muslim, and now that's even more terrifying because shit, they ain't in flip flops. They're not. They got a uniform and structure and funding. I did not know that. Like my mother explained to me growing up, because she was stationed out there in Turkey at one point in her early army career. She explained it to me like they're a different group of people out there. Like I've never met anyone from Turkey. I don't recall ever meeting someone from Turkey. I didn't know that they were Muslim. Did not know that. Darren's not wrong. I'm gonna go ahead and let me get through the rest of these. McKay, what's up, McKay? He says I've heard Turkey called the gateway between the East and the West. I read that. I read that today. I did read that, and I was like, huh, okay. I was like, so Turkey's a real player. This is what I'm understanding. And as I'm learning other countries and militaries. That's something that I'm not strong in, is understanding and learning all the militaries. This is the first time I started really digging into all militaries and defense budgets and all that, and understanding what they're spending on their defense and how they're moving. And let me tell you, Turkey, with that newfound information that they're Muslim and they're organized, I'm gonna be honest, that's terrifying. Along with Iran and Russia and North Korea in the back funding, yeah, that's because China doesn't want any parts of this. As much as people say China wants war, China has a lot of interest inside of America, mainly our land, mainly our imports and our exports. Because where do we think we get all our cell phones and Jordans and Birkin bags? You think your Birkin bags are made in Italy or some fashion district? You're lying to yourself. They're made in damn Pacific West. They just don't put the Chinese tag on it. They put their own tag when it gets there, and then they sell it to you for $12,000 like a dumbass. And then people out here, we buy it. I'm gonna say we as the civilization buy that stupid shit. Balenciaga, shit's ugly. Shit is a game, man. Darren says the real war is on humanity. It reared its ugly head a long time ago, and we woke up with the COVID jab. He's not wrong. All right, I'm 38. I had my moment of enlightenment, I say, or awareness. I call it about 10. Started really digging in about 13, and kind of just sparingly learned about this game and putting two to two together. But as technology got better, I got better, and I got a lot more information. And let me tell you now, it is not what we think. This is why the movie The Matrix is so prevalent today, because we think we're seeing one thing, and this shit is a whole other ball game, and we don't see it. And I say we as a whole, not just us. All right. Granny says Muslims are so evil they love murder. Not those Muslims. So I'm in defense of good people. All right. Now those aren't Muslims that practice war. Like, they're a formidable group if they have to go to war. But true Muslims, they're not gonna blow themselves up. I'm just gonna be honest with you. That's not the way. That's that's like that's like saying that KKK were Christians or Catholics. I mean, yeah, but a person who's supposed to be following the way wouldn't commit these acts and blame it on their scripture. That's kind of a coward way. Just come out and do it, but don't blame your scriptures. And I'm not coming down on you. I just always keep an open mind when it comes to religion and extremism. Christianity did the same thing, and so did the Catholicism. And clearly, we have the Jewish people. So there's extremists in all groups. It's not just one secular group, but I will say that if there was a top 5 list of people not to fuck with when they're extreme, probably the Muslims. I'll be honest with you. She says the ones fighting for Turkey. Well, they're in the military. Our military's Christian and Catholic. Got a couple other scramblers in there, but just depends on what side of the gun you're on with that situation. I understand what you do. I understand what you're saying. I'm not not getting on you or nothing like that. Just a little bit of debate. Don't trip, Brandy. I love you. Don't be like that. All right. Oh, wrong one. Here we go. Wendy says, "How come all the other countries don't want any Palestinians across the borders? Maybe because Palestinians train their children to kill." Whoa, Wendy, calm down. You escalated that quickly. Not completely the reason, but because ethnic cleansing is a real thing, and if they go to Egypt, eventually they're gonna get wiped out. Just interbreeding and conflict and trying to put them in a new place, ethnically cleansing. That's what happened in America. It's the same thing that happened here. Like, I won't mince words when it comes to genocide. Like, I know what genocide is. It happened here. They ethnically cleansed America when they first got here after 1492, and then from on there. That's why everyone in South America speaks Spanish. That wasn't the original language, or Portuguese. It wasn't the original language. That's called ethnic cleansing. Sometimes it comes to you. Genocide is genocide, however you want to look at it. You know what I'm saying? It's sometimes it's hidden. You can't tell. I won't sit here and say Palestinian people are all killers. I won't do that. That's like saying all Americans are angels. We know that shit's a fucking lie. That's just me. I'm gonna keep it a buck 50 with you guys all the time. But I won't take a side. I understand that there's levels to this game, and that's like saying all of the Israelis are terrible people. They're not. Some of the Israelis hate their own government. How do we know? They've been rioting and protesting the last 3 months against Bibi. So clearly we're on the same page. This is just me. I look at more than just one spectrum in the narrative. You won't feed me mainstream media, and then if you really dig into it, find out that these people hate their own government also. That's like America. That's like us being over here and being like, we're the best place. Mm? The idea of us is great. What we have here is pretty good. But what we are, what reality states we are, is two totally different things. And that's all I'm saying. All right. Iran also has the most devastating missiles in the world right now, and it's called the Fatah. Max speed is Mach 15. I saw that. I saw the Fatah or the Fatah. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. Excuse my ignorance, but I did see that. I'm fascinated with this stuff. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I'm seeing the capabilities of every country when it comes to mutually assured destruction because that's what they're all aiming for right now. And I'm seeing that every country in their own respective right has the ability to defend themselves, whether it's through proxy war or direct conflict. All right. And we're not excluded from that. We're fighting our own proxy wars inside of America. It's what they've been doing the last 20 years. Whether you see it or not, it's happening. It doesn't matter if you don't know it's not happening. That doesn't make it not true. It just means you don't see it. All right. So when we look at the big boys on the block, it's us, Russia, China, excuse me, Iran, Turkey. If you want to be in this, you can. It remains to be seen if they're going to get active. If you want to put the Jordanians in it, fine, but we know them to be kind of puppets every now and then, but they got a choice to make because they can easily get invaded too. Because Sunni, Shiite, and then there's like two more factions of Muslims. I'm gonna get to that comment too because a lot of people don't realize there's two sides of the Muslim faith: there's Sunnis and Shiite. So it just depends on how they play that out. All right. Darren says, remember there are Sunni and Shiites. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's two factions. The main factions are the Sunnis and the Shiites. That's where, if you look at a lot of conflicts in Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, a lot of those conflicts are between the Sunnis and the Shiites. There's the Turks, or the Kurds, excuse me. Kurds, I believe, are Muslim too. Could be separate. Still learning that too. I didn't know Turkey was Muslim like that. I'm learning that too. I may have, I thought I may have took them as Protestant or Orthodox, but that's just me. I may have been wrong on that, but I'm learning like you guys are learning about all these countries and their abilities and what they have and who they are and how strong they are. I've seen the parade marches in Mexico. Like, did you guys notice like a couple months ago, China was down in Central America for the display of the military strength? They had like Venezuela, had like China. Um, I think Russia was in it. Salvador was in it. It was a couple of countries, they showed their military might and, they showed their strength and all that stuff. So that's the thing going on right now. So this is the point. They may fake a lot of things. They may push that false flag narrative, but the effect is real and it's needed for their sacrificial lamb bullshit. They need blood. They need misery. They need energy. They need your spiritual fear. They need those things to carry this out. And I know that shit sounds crazy to you guys. And the people who are listening who are new to me, please don't run off and be like, yo, this dude's fucking out of his mind. I'm not. It's not that. It's just that I read a lot and I take a lot of information in. And one thing can be said about the group of people that are in control. There is something wrong with all of them, without a doubt. Yeah, I don't trust any of them. It's hard to, even in our own country, these people don't operate on the same battlefield as us or the same playing field as us. And it's really apparent by what's going on inside our country and the protests that are taking shape in every area and the conflicts that are arising from those protests and those conflicts between the Israelis and the Palestinian protesters and the ceasefire people. And always know that somewhere around all that BS, George Soros is lurking around the corner with his own group. I'm surprised we haven't seen any bricks thrown or bricks laid out in the open for people to burn down shit, but I guess that's only fucking effective with black people. I guess the Palestinians got a little bit more fucking class than us, or a little bit more different goddamn appeal, excuse my language. And if you're noticing something about me, I'm noticing how all these are being played out and how they're showing this, like as if I took a offense to the narrative pushed amongst people speaking against police brutality. So when I see people protesting, I find it strange how there's no bricks being placed out in their protest, and I find it strange how you know their protest seemed a little bit more organized and structured and put together. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit pisses me off because I can see the difference in protests and how they're structured and how they're used. It's always funny when a cop shoots a unarmed person of color, or even a regular, even just an American, not even an unarmed person of color. For God's sakes, they leave bricks and everything gets burnt down. But I swear, when we get some other country's involvement, then they got to be the most peaceful group, or we don't want any problems. I kind of went on a rant on that one. I feel some type of way about the social engineering going on. I hate social engineering. If you want to know the truth, social engineering is a thing on my list that pisses me off. And Darren understands what I'm saying. Sorry about that rant. He says they don't care about us. We are worthless eaters. They put us against each other, and they absolutely do. And that's the whole point of this, because I don't see any Antifa being slang around. You know what I'm saying? I don't see any Israeli leaders like the original six for Black Lives Matter before they were a shit organization being knocked off, double tapped in the back of the head and told it was suicide in a burning car. I just don't see that with the Palestinians and all this other protest. What I do see is you know what I'm saying, a push narrative of social engineering to get everyone on the same fucking page with something that has nothing to do with us. But when it has something to do with us, now it's a problem. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I had to get that off my chest. I had to get it off my chest. That's all I'm saying. Every time it's a real issue in America, it's filtered and watered down with fucking horse shit. And then when it's some worldwide global event, we're supposed to fucking kumbaya and pull out candles and sing together and be like, change the profiles and this and that. That shit don't do nothing for us. It don't do nothing for us. But when we talking about real world events or real American events and real American problems, all we get is fucking riots. We get Kyle Rittenhouse slow ass. That's what you get. You get a slow ass 16, 17-year-old boy with an AR-15 outside because his parents dropped him off. And then he beats his case. And yeah, it was self-defense. I don't deny that shit. But he's glorified as a fucking hero, and all he is a misguided 16-year-old boy at the time outside with a rifle because he didn't fucking know no better. This social engineering is real, people. Like, you have got to be able to see this, man. Darren said that, like, y'all feel me, man. Y'all feel me, yo. All right, I see the comments, man. Here we go. It says when Israel had the trans parade, that was in the face of Hamas. Jews in Israel spit on the nuns, spit on the doorways of the church. They do. Go look at them people from Palestine in the Gaza Strip going there and try to go into their mosque and pray. They're getting spit on and beat on to go pray. You are out of your mind. I'm not standing with none of this shit no more, man. Come on. We've been watching this whole conflict for like 20 years in my generation, at least 20 years. And it's the same thing. You always see footage of Israelis beating Palestinians, and we're supposed to be okay with that, just like we're supposed to be okay with cops beating an unarmed man of color. And we sit here like, this shit blows my mind, man. How do you stand this? How do you stand with this shit? How? It's social engineering. It's filth. It's not like it. How? This is a real question. Like, because I am confused on what we're standing for as Americans. We're standing for Israel genociding Palestinians right now, and have the nerve to get mad when a person says, I don't stand with that. Like, I'm not saying Hamas is clean. I'm not saying that. I said Palestinians. Just like when I say the Israeli Mossad, I know who I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the Israeli people. Them people don't even like the damn people we're talking about. How is it we can sit here and watch our shit go to hell and have the nerve to stand with someone else? That shit blows my mind. I'm sorry, guys. I just don't get it. Okay, so I say the same thing every day. Black people are the constant target. We don't even have the power of groups to protect us. BLM was a great movement, but the organization has obviously not for us. That shit died with Darren Seals and the other 5 members that were all found unalived in their vehicles on fire or mysteriously ended up gone. 6. Because let's keep it a buck about Black Lives Matter. When it first started behind Trayvon Martin and Michael Brown in St. Louis and Trayvon Martin in Florida behind George Zimmerman and the cops in St. Louis, that was a real movement. That was a grassroots movement. Now, what happened after that and after all of them were unalived, and if you haven't saw on the news, the CEO of Black Lives Matter is doing 2.5 years in prison for embezzlement and fraudulent use of the funds. Listen, I am not making this up. It is not what it used to be. It's the truth. So when people get upset, it's like, why don't you like Black Lives Matter? Because Black Lives Matter was a hidden objective for the Pride Parade. If you don't believe me, those streets went from black to yellow to all the fucking colors. They painted all the street colors and they ushered in the pride movement behind Black Lives Matter. That's not what the fuck it started off as. And I'm going to say it out loud tonight. It didn't start off as that. What you're looking at is social engineering. And no one saw it. No one saw it. No one saw it coming. Here we are. Here we are. And Brandy's right. As so many of the BLM today are turning to Trump because they just realized BLM ain't BLM no more. It ain't been BLM in a long time. Everything you see, you think painting a street gets us some type of freedom? You're out of your mind. People of color just got an anti-lynching act last year, like 2021 maybe, when Biden got in office. I want to say they passed that. Not before everyone else got an anti-hate crime bill or anti-Asian bill or anti-LGBTQ bill. 400 years and people of color just got an anti-lynching bill. They still lynch people enlisted as suicide. Who the hell lynches themselves? Who unalives themselves in public? Just, I'm going to go find a tree. People, this is social engineering. Steve, it's okay if you say something, man. I understand what you're saying because of your complexion. If you said something, they'd be like, oh, well, you're being racist. No, it's fucking true. It's true. Without a doubt, it's true. I've posted the videos. Go look up Darren Seals. Only reason I don't do it a lot is because it falls on deaf ears. I just post it because it matters to me. Don't nobody want to hear the truth? That shit was social engineering after they knocked off all 6 of the original group, the grassroots group. It was 6 gentlemen. I didn't want to get on a rant tonight because it's November 5th and I got a video to lively the November 5th feel. You know what I'm saying? But I'm aggravated for the certain fact that we as Americans keep falling for the same social engineering tactic every time. It's on time every time. Is that not a coincidence to anyone? Every time. As soon as October 7th happened, the protest happened October 8th. You got to get a permit to protest. It takes at least a week to get a permit, and they don't give permits. They're racist with permits if you don't understand how the permit system works. When Black Lives Matter started, they couldn't get a permit, so they just organized, and it grew from there. But the KKK can get a permit. the Palestinian movement can get a permit. Everyone can get a permit right before right before you, so you knew a week in advance that this was coming. I don't mind saying that uncomfortable things out loud, people. I don't say it to get likes. I don't say it to get views. I say it because facts matter over feelings. Facts matter over feelings. I don't know what I just don't know any way to put this to y'all. Y'all are watching social engineering right now with this whole conflict, and they're gonna ride the wave. This is why Ukraine died because no one cares about that. Israel, because that's where Christianity allegedly came from, and you guys eat that shit up, and it blows my mind. There was no Israel before the Balfour Declaration. There was no land of Israel over there. It was actually Judea or Judea because there was no damn J 500 years ago. So it's either Udea, Judea, or Hudea. There's no Israel they gifted themselves that shit after the World War II and Hitler and shit. They gifted themselves that through British Parliament. The damn breadcrumbs are in your face. The British Parliament's been tainted since the Battle of Waterloo when they gave up their breeding rights. So hell, how the hell are you depending on that? I don't understand this shit sometimes with the masses, guys. I'm dumbfounded. I am because this shit is all surface level. You can really, on a whim, type in like 4 words and you can fuck around and find something. The damn breadcrumbs are there, people. And here we are in America. Like, hold on. I wanna. There was a comment right here. We go. Darren has a comment of the night. The Palestinian protesters against the black Israelites. Shake my head. You can't make this shit up. I shared that video last time, right? Listen. How the hell are the Palestinian protesters and the black Israelites fighting each other if they're the same fucking thing? Do y'all understand how this is supposed to work? You are watching social engineering. You mean to tell me the Hebrew Israelites and the Palestinian protesters are not on the same page? This is the whole conversation of the fake Jews, the black Israelites, and the Palestinians being true Jews. Being true Jews. And it is a difference, not the Jewish people, the Jews. The real ones. If you think the black Israelites and the Palestinian protesters are beefing is normal, you have failed for the psyop. This is social engineering, and you lost. You failed. You didn't see it. Like you have to understand who the black Israelites are and the Palestinians. You know the Palestinians are people of color. Like, I don't know any way to say this shit. I got some good comments coming in. You guys are talking to me tonight. I'm on my bullshit tonight. You see, I hate social engineering, guys. If you guys want to know what really aggravates me, is social engineering because it works. It does work. It works so well to where it doesn't seem like it's noticeable, but if you really watch it, it's very noticeable. Right? Brandy has a good point. Sorry, hold up. Clicked off of it. She says, I'm saying Black Lives Matter has been used by the elite forever. She's right. The black people have always been protected. Me as a white girl growing up, amen. Hey, to be honest, the real Rainbow Coalition, this was a thing back in the day. I shared that video. I always share it on my stories. Listen, Black Lives Matter has been used by the elite. It's been infiltrated a long time ago. It's not what you think it is. They kill black people shit quicker than anything. I'm not gonna lie to you. Black people should get killed quick because I keep saying Caucasians and black people, the day we do this, oh, it's a long day and they know it. This is why I always push this to y'all. And I saw Steve's comment. Hey, I appreciate the home in Ohio. I got a home in Missouri too, man. You know, I got a lot of people that I know. You know, I got my own little network. It's not like I can hide everything from the world. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you guys, man, but the stuff that I say this to regular people, fucking blows their mind. Blows their mind. They're like, what? I, I cannot compute. And they racist. I'm like, I'm black. I'm not racist. Someone called me a Russian when I started doing this. I'm a Russian like loyalist. I'm like, I'm not a Russian loyalist. I just understand like what's going on. I don't stand with just I don't do groups because groups get infiltrated. Isn't that what happened to the baby boomers in the 70s? I'm a millennial. If I can go back in history and read history and find out that the whole baby boomer generation figured it out, it was like, fuck this shit, we're going to stand up and stood up and got all infiltrated. And then, right. Remember, they shot Kennedy and he was white. Shit. They shot Martin Luther King. They shot Malcolm X, Huey P. Newton, Fred Hampton. I can go on for days. Bruce Lee mysteriously died that a couple years later. Cesar Chavez. Race don't matter to the power elite. If you get more clout than them and you can lead a revolution, prepare to be in the history books. And you're going to get a holiday and a school. That's your contribution to society as a leader. John Lennon, thank you, Darren. I forgot. I did forget John Lennon. He's absolutely right. John Lennon. Bob Marley. Anybody resonate with Bob Marley? I shot the sheriff, but I did not shoot the deputy. I can't sing. It's okay. Bob Marley was in that conversation too. This is why I say, like, understand that there was a lot of people, there was a lot of influential figures in the 70s and 80s that were very prominent and could have led their people into a new generation of enlightenment and understanding and forgiveness and hope. And everybody that we are naming are all holidays, rock stars, schools, presidents, figures in history that we don't fully understand. We only get a piece of their history and their story because it's jaded. This is why I said every ethnicity, there was one point in time where every ethnicity had leadership. Every ethnicity had representation. Bruce Lee, Bob Marley, Kennedy, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, and y'all really don't want to know the history of that. He found out the hard way that he was dealing with the wrong people. Fred Hampton, Huey P. Newton. It's the reason I'm not naming a lot of other people because a lot of people aren't who they say they were. I put Muhammad Ali in there, Jim Brown. There's a few more. I'm missing some names. I could put Cesar Chavez in there, but I know, he went another way too. This is proven. Everyone had leadership and representation. This was the first time that you got neighborhoods on the same page. Not just the colored neighborhoods, but the white neighborhoods, the white Irish, the Russians. Everybody was on the same page at one point in America against the same problem we're having right now. But the only difference is that they weren't too chicken shit to stand up. Problem is that they didn't understand how infiltration worked. They didn't understand how infiltration worked. They didn't. And when it happened, they were all taken down. This is why the Hells Angels, not MS-13, Latin Kings, Crips, Bloods, GDs, the Baby Lords ended up becoming the Vice Lords. the Confederate boys, or the proud, like whatever you want to call them down there back then, the Confederates, and you had a couple of the Scranglers up in the Midwest and the East. At one point, America had a problem. Even the Native Americans started protesting. Black Panthers too. Where do you think we got the WIC program? The WIC program, Women and Children. They the WIC program was so beneficial that the government destabilized the organization and took their idea. Prove me wrong. The bag lunch that you used to get back in the day at the Boys and Girls Club, that is because of the Black Panthers. Facts. So when you see the government implementing something, they're not original. That's all stolen intellectual ideas from different organizations and different things, and they infiltrated and they painted a picture for all of us, and they kept us separated. This is the 80s. Introducing crack, the Reaganomics, the Star Wars agenda with Reagan, and tell me I'm lying. He was the first one to talk about the fucking Death Star and talk about using lasers. All facts. We're talking about um, the Ira Contra scandal. We're talking the beginning of the Taliban with the Bush oil family and the Saudi, because again, people don't know the fucking history. Bin Laden was not Afghani; he's a Saudi prince. So again, riddle me that. And we're talking the beginning of mass incarceration, the real movement of mass incarceration and the abuse of the 13th Amendment against people of color and indentured servitude and slavery through the judicial imprisonment system. Hell, you have no idea. It's so fucked up. It's so bad out here. You have no idea how they have abused us. And I can go on and on. I can keep doing this. They have abused us, and they turned us all against each other because of the 70s, because our grandparents decided to stand up for something, or your parents. What you saw in the 80s and the 90s was an ass whooping. And the ones who weren't a part of it, the silent generation, the silent majority that sits back and don't fucking say nothing while this shit keeps going on, it's the silent majority that keeps putting us in this situation. Because they have names for everybody. They like to segregate you and put you in a class and then put you through the fusion center where you get a classification. So the silent generation that refuses to say something, just remember, they're going to get you too. The silent majority who keeps putting us in these situations, yeah, yeah. I'm going to share you a quick video. It's going to be real quick. But if you guys have ever seen V for Vendetta, today is November 5th. I got to play it before, the night ends. I did share it in my stream. Here you go. It's a little quick 17-second break. Sorry.
Remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder, treason, and plot. I know of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgotten.
Yeah, I love that movie. That movie is very prominent right now. Yeah, Darren, I figured you would like that. If you guys understand, man, that was a hell of a movie. That was a hell of a movie. All right. And we're thinking, if you look at how everything played out, old buddy took control and never gave it back. And we're looking at that right now. You want me to play it again? Got the blood pumping, right? I'll go ahead and play it again. I'll keep my face in there this time.
Remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder, treason, and plot. I know of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgotten.
I love that movie. I love that movie. It was one of my favorite. I remember when I first saw that movie when I was in my dorm room one night. This is like 2007, maybe 2008. It could be 2009. I don't remember. I know I seen it when it first came out around that time. It wasn't in the theaters no more. Man, that movie changed my whole perspective. Y'all love that shit. I ain't even gonna lie to you. That's one of my favorite movies. All right, let's get to some comments, man. You guys are giving me, we're talking tonight. I'm feeling some type of way just because I'm tired of watching all this go down. Miguel says, yep, the ignorant slaves fight tooth and nail to keep the demonic system in place, yet the irony is that most of those have had 6 jabs or more, sick as fuck, unable to live comfortably anymore, and the price for apathy in the day is fucked. It is, and fucked. It is. Got a little on me when I got to the bottom. Sorry. Saw a detailed report last week that showed death numbers and rates globally in major countries. Yeah, public tracker owned by the WEF claims that they're 8 billion now. There are 7 billion. Look, man, infant mortality and deaths amongst the 25 and lower are up. Excuse me, they're up right now. They're skyrocketing, right? Why is that? They're reporting in what was that? It was either France or Italy. I forget. We reported this last week that they haven't had a birth in 3 months. They haven't had a birth in 3 months. That's almost impossible. That's almost impossible. Like there's no way. But with if you understand how genetics work in the human genome and trying to hack the human body and implant its own and implant it like if you've seen Black Mirror, they would like to implant the third strand in the double helix to a triple helix. All right, that's the best way that I can put it. Right, Queen Elizabeth, before she died in like 2020, right as COVID happened, she had the coronation in her courtyard, and she did the triple helix. Right, that's the thing. Like what we're dealing with is bigger. It's not just politics. It's not just black and white. It's not one secular event or singular event, because secular is another word that I'm looking to use with these folks. But it's not one singular event. It's a combination of different objectives being played out across the board. Why? Because it's easier to do it in a divide and conquer way than it is if we knew exactly where the problem was coming from. We just realized in my generation where the problem is coming from, but the last 2 generations behind the millennials, they either knew and didn't want to say nothing or just stopped saying something because shit, we're millennials. So the events that we're watching, the mRNA, the mass depopulation, the World Economic Forum shaking in their little trouser boots and blouses and all that, worried that their shit's not working, and it's not. It's working, but you got a little resistance now. There's resistance right now, and they know there's resistance. Why? Because of people like me, people like you, people who listen, people who research, people who think outside themselves and don't make themselves the main character in their own lives. Because the shit's bigger than you and me. Like Nino Brown. Nino Brown, baby, this shit bigger than you and me, man. It's everywhere. It ain't about me. It ain't about the flag. You know what I'm saying? It ain't about the props. It ain't about sensationalizing. Like it's about getting this out. Like at some point, we have got to realize there is a problem. You guys are giving me heat right now. Miguel says we do know where it is coming from. 13 demonic bloodlines who own the Federal Reserve. We're gonna get into that. Let's talk about that. I got graphics. Let's talk about that. Got graphics. Always got the deep state mapping project stuff. Steve says, was that the same time you became awake? I've been taught to hate you by the color of your skin, but you know that's not true. So, all right, 2-part answer. I'm going to get to you, Miguel. 2-part answer to that. I became aware. You want to know what really started jogging my mind? The LA riots in 92 with Rodney King getting his ass whooped. I then started realizing there was something wrong, and I'm 7. I'm gonna be honest, I was maybe 6, but I lived in a household that didn't lie to me. My mom told me interesting stuff when we would watch the news. You know what I'm saying? She would explain to me what was going on. It took me to watch the LA riots to understand how this was working, how reality was really working. Because clearly these people are upset that you have beat this man on camera. I'm questionable to say who was walking around with a camera in 1992 knowing how big a camera was. So I always assumed that that could have been social engineering and a psyop. But that's what kind of got my mind jogging. But when I turned 10, I can't tell you something happened to me. I don't know what happened. I just woke up one day and the world seemed off. And from there, I was a sci-fi kind of kid. I grew up watching Godzilla. I grew up watching Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I saw Red Dawn for my first time as a kid, the original one, not the new one. That was the first time I saw it. Then I watched it again like 3 weeks ago, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I've seen the new one, but like it took a lot of things to happen for me to understand. And another situation, how I knew, and this is off topic, right? Kind of on topic. I knew something was wrong with the world when Bill Clinton got on TV and banned cloning. And this might be like 90, maybe 94, 95. When Bill Clinton banned cloning, I knew something was wrong then because I'm like, I didn't know cloning exists. I was like, so in my mind, I'm thinking, how can you ban something that doesn't exist? Until I was like, well, if he's banning it, then that means that they're already doing it. Because he banned cloning. Go back and look. Bill Clinton banned cloning. I know that strikes a lot of people as crazy, but he did ban cloning. Brady says, as a mother with 3 babies under my feet, the black that I rented from, they kept the freezer full of food all the time. My first son, white baby, his nickname was Coon. These human people love me and family. It was not about color. It was. I can't see the rest of your comment. Where the fuck did it go? Excuse me. I have to read it. These human people love me as my little family. It was not about color. It was about love, brothers and sisters. That's called the human experience. What you guys are all talking about is called the human experience. It's something that we're all supposed to accomplish together. We're supposed to learn from each other and grow from each other and understand that we're all the same, but yeah, we're different. But because of the construct in an institution that we reside in America, divide and conquer is the name of the game, and that's profit because that's just how it works. That's just what they did to us. Because before this, there was no real like racism really wasn't a thing until about 1492, and I'm gonna tell you why. Most racism, you really didn't have a problem because you never went anywhere. How could you like something you had never seen? Some people, you see what I'm saying? Like there were black people. There were black people back then during the gladiator days. There were black people in England during the 1800s. Black people have been around a long time, and so have white people. So have Asians. We've all been here a while. So the idea that there's some type of conflict between the races is not. It's a conflict of right and wrong and evil and good and all that stuff. Like the Khazarian mafia alone is the reason why everybody hates that little section of the world or that group of people. And if you want to say it's a coincidence that both their homelands, quote unquote, fake Israel in the Ukraine or the Khazar Empire, which that's what it is because that's what the Ukraine symbol is. They're the same thing. They're fighting for their homeland. They don't have a homeland. That's why they gifted themselves a homeland. This world is not what we think it is, man. Hey, Steve, appreciate you. You threw me off a little bit. You could tell what I like. I see a comment and freeze a little bit because I'm reading it, but I appreciate you, man. And, I'm down here in Alabama, man. Hit me up, make something happen. Come on down to the home of Mardi Gras. That's how you know where I'm at. If you know the real home of Mardi Gras, you know where I'm at. We live in a simulation, guys. And the only reason it's a simulation because the people above us, between Cambridge Analytica and all the AI and the data that they're selling, they understand what makes us go. They understand that they can program us in a certain way and we'll go with it. Do you think that what you're seeing with the Palestinian protests is coincidence? It's not. That was in the making. The Muslims have been oppressed for a while, and I'm not going to sit here and act like they haven't. It's a reason. It's a reason the Muslims have an issue with those people. If you go back in history, you would understand that this Khazarian mafia, quote unquote, had an issue with the Christians and had an issue with the Muslims. If you look at America right now, Christians are listed as domestic terrorists, and guess who are also Muslims? I don't make this up. I don't make this up. And this is all verifiable. We've talked about this for months now. The same issues that these people have had for thousands of years, they're still having in 2023. Their biggest enemy is Russia, and they've already lost that one. So they got to go try to save Israel and prop them up and save it, because Ukraine's over. We need to focus on America, because right now, what we have flowing through our major cities, no one's prepared for. Excuse me. No one's prepared for. How do I know no one's prepared for? Because if you were, you would know that. If you were prepared, you would know that most of your imports coming into America as far as food and goods and entertainment is about to cease. Why? Because conflict has arisen. Hey, the one and only, how you doing? Hey, appreciate you here with me. But look, if you guys understand, Africa's about to cease their imports. They've already halted some of their imports to us. China and Taiwan being one of our biggest importers, you know what I'm saying? And China also, that's going to cease too. This is why the Dust Bowl happened. A lot of other things are happening. People started ceasing stuff. And you notice you're looking at your shelves, your local Piggly Wiggly, they push stuff to the front. If you look behind it, it's only 2 rows of food. Walmart, hey, chemicals make food quicker than actual real stuff. I can't make this up. The food shortage, the long, dark winter that we've all been talking about, guess what? This might be it. If it's not this winter, it's next winter. I say each winter is a variation of dark winter. But this winter, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be real interesting. Because I'm going to tell you why. There's no reserves. You think there's reserves? There's no reserves. At least not for us. The reserves are gone. They're getting rid of the medicine on the shelf so they can force you into the hospital when you get sick. You're going to force you to the food banks when there's nothing in your grocery store. And when you can't afford your rent no more, and they file a lien on your mortgage or your land, guess where you're going? Oh, FEMA. Y'all think I'm playing. I'm not. I'm dead serious. It's mapped out. They're going to break us up into districts, and they're going to allow the UN to govern us. It's here. Like Miguel just said, where's it at? The food shortage, he's been tracking it for 3 years. It's a 3 year process. What we saw were reserves. The toilet paper, that was a psyop. They wanted to see how we would react. To be honest. And I saw people fighting over pallets of noodles. Do you know how terrifying it is to go into a Walmart and not know how people are going to react with resource? I've seen it before because I'm from the Gulf Coast. I lived through Katrina. I'm not from New Orleans, but if you know the Gulf Coast, the whole Gulf Coast was hit. I saw what happened when the lights went out. I saw what happened when people get hungry. I saw what happened when people don't have resources, and I saw it again in 2020 with toilet paper, which was the stupidest shit in the world, but it happened. People were fighting over water. People were fighting over toilet paper. We were standing outside in the line to get into a Walmart. You guys understand they tested it and we complied. To some extent, I had to put on the mask to go feed my family. I had to. I had to go in the store. I had a schedule every day to go into the store and go get the needed items for my family every morning. Every morning I did it. I swear to you, I don't make it up. Stop playing with these people, okay? The one and only said Africa could easily feed themselves. We didn't have to cooperate or corporate entities taking advantage. We didn't have corporate entities. I read that wrong. That's my fault. Little jump right now. But he's right. Corporate entities, they took advantage of Africa. Africa is actually one of the more self-sustained countries besides America. There's only a couple countries in this world or this plane that can self-sustain themselves. It's Africa and America, South America. Mexico, kind of, depending on what part you're in, Central America. But most part, America and Africa are the only self-sustaining countries in the world with every that can grow everything, crops, livestock, anything. We can sustain it. The food shortage is here, guys. If you don't believe me, you're squeezing your pockets with it. That's how you know there's a shortage. It's scarcity. Macro and microeconomics is the most useless jargon in the world. It's an easy way to explain how they're robbing you with money. But truth of the matter is, scarcity creates price. And the more scarce an item is, the more expensive that item becomes. Food is high. It's not really due to inflation. It's more due to the scarcity in the market of food and the strain that is being put on the world right now. If you destroy farms, grain, distributing centers, the value of food goes up because it puts the stress on the other ones, on the big corporations who actually control it, and they start price gouging everybody. If you have a conflict in the world, it limits the world on a certain aspect of resource, which makes it more scarce because now conflict has driven up the prices. That's all it is. What you're watching right now is us being robbed because the supply of food is really infinite if we weren't fucking poisoning everything. And the supply of oil and water ain't going nowhere either because they're running the same thing. I guess I probably shouldn't have said that on here, but for the green world, cars can run on water, and we've known that for a while. Cars could have been electric 80 years ago, and they were before oil was a thing. They were electric. Everything that you see right now is profit. They just want to lace their pockets. We could honestly be a self-sustaining environment on green energy like Tesla figured, and we wouldn't have this problem. But greedy fingers and greedy hands keep us where we're at. It's just uncomfortable truth. The one that only says $16 for a Big Mac meal. You paying $16 to eat a human person. I'm gonna get to that comment. You're eating. Listen, Ain't enough cows in the world for 1 million burgers a day from McDonald's. Ain't enough burgers in the world, people. It's either soy or it's human. And if you understand what I'm saying, and you understand that there are a lot of people that go missing, if you heard of the Rabbi Finkelstein interviews and you know what Goyim are, they are correct. It is cattle. They just didn't say what kind of cattle. It's just Goyim. And if you understand a corporation and what happens when a corporation defaults on its loans and has no money, what does a corporation start doing? Corporations start selling themselves. And when corporations start selling themselves, we call that diluting. They start diluting themselves. And if you understand what I'm saying, if America's a corporation, then are they diluting themselves right now? They'll start burning paperwork and organizations and sabotaging departments just to drive the value down, and they can sell it for the low and collect the back end on insurance. So if America's a corporation and they're diluting their stock right now by burning all the food in the land, someone has to get something. Someone has to buy the corporation and the sections of the corporation. I guess we figure out how Red Dawn happened. Someone sold us out. Because the corporation has to sell off and keep going. They'll sell off and go to bricks before they sell off and give us power. So, think about that. The one and only says we are debt notes. We are the straw man. He's absolutely correct. You guys know what I'm talking about. You guys understand what I'm saying. You guys feel me. Why? Because we do our research. We don't know everything. We collectively come together and we talk about it as a unit. And you guys come up here with me. Every time I get on my live, y'all right here with me talking to me. For the ones that keep getting kicked off, I don't think people are just leaving. I do know that Facebook tends to kick people off my stream. I get it. But the straw man, yeah, they're leveraging our bank accounts and our debt and our income driven jobs as debt and collateralization when they sell us. That's what your Social Security number's for. That's what your driver's license is for. That's what your birth certificate is for. It's an uncomfortable truth, but it's a truth. Facts over feelings, people. Facts over feelings. I just, for me, I never thought that I would be in this position talking to y'all where I'm at. Like, I've always been a person to research and go into these rabbit holes, but I never thought that this would be a real thing. I didn't ever think I'd be a content creator, a podcaster talking to you guys about this. But I feel the need to be of service and talk to you guys and, give my thought process and maybe do it from a different standpoint, because I'm not like a lot of creators. And when I say that, it sounds cliche, but it's not, right? So I don't fearmonger you guys. I try to give you guys receipts. I try to make sure you guys understand. And if I'm wrong, I'll tell you I'm wrong. I would like for y'all to tell me stuff, because some things I don't know. But one thing I'm not going to do, I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't see it. I see it. It's not hard to miss. But I understand, too, that the silent majority wants to act like it's not happening. And I see you guys commenting. This is a good show. We're having a good night. All right? Where to start at? You guys are got to give me good stuff. Steve says, I'm in to the end. Hey, I love it. It's all fictional money since 1971 when Nixon took us off the gold standard in 1971? Is that what you're talking about? For the people in the back that don't understand what 1971 was, Trump took that gold from the Vatican. I heard that because the Vatican's a bank. That's why the Vatican put out that message like 2021. You can hide your wealth here. If that wasn't the most obvious, look, we got a problem. Put your money in the Vatican and ain't no one gonna mess with it. Nah, you ain't excluded Vatican, Rome, the Roman Empire. We know who you are. You guys rebranded yourselves. I enjoy you guys, man. You guys always give me information, and gals, and gals. Always got to put that out there. The girls like me, it's all planned. Damn it. It's been planned for years. He's absolutely right. It has been planned. They've known this. The Rockefellers knew this hundreds of years ago. Rothschilds, they knew it hundreds of years ago until they ran into that dude in Germany who had a really bad day and went after them. And, because he didn't go after everybody, he just went after them. And, they got a little soft about it. Says look up USC Title 28, Section 3002, 2003, paragraph A, B, and C. Ooh, you kind of make me want to go look at it. I got my Ingersoll Lockwood pulled up. I was gonna bring that up, but we've kind of been riding right now, so I didn't really bring up Ingersoll Lockwood. But if you're ever on the internet and you want to kind of play with your psyche a little bit, go to Ingersoll Lockwood and go click on the red hyperlinks and see what you find. 1913, creation of the Fed, Reserve, CIA, FBI, and the World Health Organization, or the WHO. Wonderful world of the WHO. Whoville. Trump is a placeman. Presidents are selected in and pre-vetted years before an election, the one and only. I believe that. I do. I think voting is a waste of time. If it mattered, they wouldn't let us do it. I just think they make a fuss about it so people can go vote and they feel like they got control. But in my mind, voting hasn't really been relevant in a long time. Miguel says, watch the Synagogue of Satan. I know who you're talking about. I read a couple books on them. On Rumble, 5 hours long. I don't know about 5 hours. I got to break that down. I read the Book of Enoch, and then I went on YouTube and listened to the audio book of the Book of Enoch. Interbred and maintain power in the hands of the same bloodlines. Yeah, ancestral relationships. They lied to people. And it's funny that he brings that up about their interbreeding because that's how they keep their power. They interbreed. Ooh, the one and only. Said Reagan and Nixon were both at the same Bohemian Grove meeting. Peter Griffin when he hits his knee. Should I do something on the Bohemian Grove? Tell you what, I'm gonna do something on the Bohemian Grove. We're gonna do that for next Sunday, and I'm gonna give you guys. I'll do a Wednesday show. Wednesday show to cover current events like I normally do. I didn't do one last week, so I got to do one this week. But Sunday, let's talk about the Bohemian Grove. I feel like I'm on that kind of time right now. I'm on that kind of time. I am the one and only. I'm on that kind of time. I'm thinking about it. Like I haven't got into the integral details of this cabal. Like it's so much to point a target at. But if you guys are willing, each Sunday, barring world events and real life events, we can go back and we can look into these groups because the more we look, the more we find. And if you want to know about the Bohemian Grove, Alex Jones allegedly got in and filmed it. I saw the video. I think they let him in. I look. I still think Alex Jones is one of them. I just think that he might be controlled op. I could be wrong, but he gets a lot of information, and his father was CIA also. I don't know. I seen the video. Bohemian Grove is weird. We got next Sunday's topic. I'll do Bohemian Grove, and we'll do that. We'll go from there because I've heard some crazy stories come out of Bohemian Grove. If you want to know what I'm drinking, Uncle Nearest 1856. Shelbyville, Tennessee premium whiskey. I'm a whiskey drinker. Steve says, "Bring it, brother. I love it." Steve is ready. Steve is ready for anything right now. He's like, I don't care what's going on, man. Just get it started. The one and only says, I used to prank call the security gate at the Bohemian Grove. Jones is probably controlled op. I think he is. I'm not going to front, man. Miguel, you can. Look, my email's on the page. You guys send me information. We look at our email. Like, if I'm not looking at it, just maybe looking at it. Send me the email. The podcast guy 251 at gmail.com. The podcast guy 251 gmail.com. That's my email. The one and only says, I got drunk off Effie yesterday at a wedding reception. I haven't been to a good wedding. The last wedding I went to was, I won't say his name because he has a really important federal job. So, but he did invite me to his wedding. If you guys don't know anything about me, I'm a personal trainer. I'm into health and wellness and fitness. So I help people get in shape. I help people fit in their tuxedos or their wedding dresses. I'm into sports and stuff like that. I get like people hate sports right now. Not like hate it, but they think it's fake. But I still see it as a vessel for our young people to get treats. To be honest with you. So, yeah, that's the last wedding I've been to. I mean, I like a good wedding because it's always love, even if they don't last. The free food, open bar, pictures. I love a good wedding. I'm a softie for a good wedding. Love weddings. They had an open tab. I couldn't resist. I got up and sang with the band they hired. You're a wedding singer? He was like, how good can this night be? You're like, hold my beer. Got up there and sang with the band. I'm a little under the influence. I couldn't get the how out. I just kept going. It was like a repeat. How. Right. But everything going on right now, this is my vent. This is how I get to not go crazy. If I don't do a show, it's just because I don't have the mental space to want to do a show some days. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's just a lot of information to take in. It's a lot of coverage. It's a lot of social media platforms. It's a lot of research. It's a lot of going live and interacting with all of you. It's a lot. So some days I take a day off when I'm supposed to go live. Now, I got a couple more videos, right? I got two more. Now, let's get back to America. I'm not done. I know it's Sunday. It's 10:27 my time, Central Standard Time. Eastern, it's 11:27. West Coast, it's... Are we on a time change? So it's like 3 hours West Coast? So, yeah. So look, got another video of migrants being caught at the border for, I wanted you guys to see this. This is a new video. Came out a couple days ago.
Where are you from? Where are you from? Africa? Where? From where? Haiti, Mauritania, Senegal, where? Senegal? Thank you. Where are you going? Where are you going? New York, California, where? Chicago? Colorado. Thank you. You, sir? Where are you from?
Senegal.
Where are you going, sir? New York? Thank you. You, sir?
Senegal.
Where are you going?
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. Thank you. You?
Senegal.
Where are you going?
Biagrove Stone. Son.
Thank you, sir. You? Where are you going? Where are you from?
Senegal.
Where are you going?
Missouri.
Where?
Missouri.
Missouri. Thank you. You, sir?
I'm from Senegal.
And where are you going, sir?
Philadelphia.
Thank you, sir. You, sir?
Senegal.
Where are you going?
New York.
Thank you. You?
Senegal.
Where are you going, sir?
New York.
Thank you, sir.
Senegal. I am going to Colorado.
You're young. You speak good English. How old are you?
I am 13 años.
13 años. Hablas español también. ¿De dónde eres?
Senegal.
Senegal. Muy bien. Te cuidas, te portas bien. Buenas tardes. ¿Dónde vienes?
Ecuador.
¿A qué estado te diriges?
A Nueva Jersey.
Gracias. ¿Y usted?
Igual.
¿Igual qué?
Igual me dijo.
¿De dónde vienes?
De Ecuador.
¿A dónde vas?
A Nueva York.
Gracias. ¿Y usted, señorita?
Vengo de Ecuador.
¿A dónde va?
I want to point something out about that video. You know, most of those guys speak English. How do you know they speak English? You know, English is the hardest language to learn. You know, English is the hardest language to comprehend. Did you know English is the hardest language to actually to write? The English language, if you've never heard it, is difficult. These gentlemen all speak English very well. And you know they speak English by the way they look around to their counterparts. They speak English very well. Yeah, this is from earlier this week, the one and only. I got it earlier this week. They speak English really well for a group of people who've never encountered. Now, it is true in some parts of Africa, English is the national language. But English is still a very difficult language to learn because it's backwards. English is hard because it's a mixture. It's Latin, it's Hebrew, it's Old English. It's a little bit of everything. That young man, 13 years old, he spoke English and Spanish. And he's not Spanish. He's African. He's from one of the African countries. He spoke English and Spanish. Clear English and Spanish. So much that he could speak Spanish to Border Patrol. These are not your normal asylum seekers. I should have showed this earlier, but I got on my rant about social engineering and I got in a little fit. I hate social engineering. He speaks English though. He speaks Spanish, but he's not Spanish. These aren't normal males. There are women coming through, yes. There are women and children coming through. But those women too are military because the women join the military too. Some of them are asylum seekers, yes. But don't be deceived. They speak English very well. They understand. He spoke English to a lot of them. Where you coming? Look around. California. He may be going to California. He may be going to Utah. They're from Senegal, allegedly. But they speak clear English and they understand Spanish too. They're not your normal migrants coming through. and they're getting funds, and they're getting phones, and they're getting hotel rooms. I shared that video about the guys in Britain who said that they were being held in the hotel rooms. If you're in a major city, go ride around the construction plants. Go ride around those little desolate places in your city, and I bet you they're lit up right now. There's a lot of stuff going on in these cities right now that no one sees. I see it. Even in my little city, I see little things about my city changing, like the roadblocks being put downtown, like the way they're directing traffic and they're trying to incorporate, the new people. Steve says they know our language to be able to blend in and carry out terrorist attacks. Sorry, did I say that out loud? You didn't, but I did. You typed it. I said it. They speak English. Don't think they don't. They speak it very well, and they know what's going on, and they blend in very well with us. So when you hear these people come across the border, it depends on where you're living at, you're already seeing the effects. Depending on where you're at. For me, it's not as bad in the South. It's happening, but it's not like New Orleans. It's not like Tampa. It's not like Miami right now. It's not like Houston, Simio, Phoenix, Seattle, Portland. Cali's a cesspool. New York is going to be bankrupt. New York is probably going to file for bankruptcy by February. If they don't, it's a miracle. It's a whole miracle. Before I go, I'm going to tell you something. Look into Project Blackjack, Operation Blackjack. Project Blackjack is the military in Nevada running an operation based on terrorist events transpiring in major cities. Operation Blackjack is a simulated attack in major cities around America and the world. Excuse me. Project Blackjack, I take that back. Project Blackjack is a satellite system above us. That's what it is. Operation Blackjack is a simulation of mass attacks around U.S. targets and worldwide targets. Project Blackjack is the other one that's funny to me because it's all the satellites, and the senators got the satellite phones, right? Yeah, that's the thing. The emergency broadcasting test wasn't for us. It was for all the new phones they activated on the system. Brandy's not wrong. They can be tracked. You know why they can be tracked? Because all phones are meant to be tracked. Yep. The emergency broadcasting, listen, they only do an emergency broadcasting system when there's an actual emergency or they need to test it. When they need to test it, as someone who's worked on cell phones, it's because there's an influx of new devices on the network. So you got to make sure it works. You get a huge influx. Lots of bike lanes being formed in my area. That's the beginning. And they like to say the bike lanes are for, like, if you live in a major city like Phoenix, you'll see people riding a bike. If you live in a small urban city, then the bike lanes aren't needed. The bike lanes are typically homeless people. Most homeless people are on bikes. Not all of them, but, most of them. They've been doing emergency alert tests like 3 times a week on Telegraph. Yeah, I mean, all the phones on the network, you got to say something. Now, do I think they're going to carry out a coordinated attack? If you live in New York, you've heard about the shopping carts being posted around places and they don't know what they are. If you heard about the caches and you know about the 70s and 80s, there were people saying that they found ammunition crates. If you know about the Black Lives Matter protests, you'll find a cache of bricks on a corner so someone can throw a brick through a glass. What I'm saying is typically when they want something to happen, they'll create the situation. Right? And that's what you're seeing right now. Now, as far as the caches, I got one story for you that I saw coming from Arizona on I-10 about 6 in the morning. We left about 3, so that put us about an hour outside of Tucson. I saw something falling from the sky. It looked like it could have been a skydiver, but I didn't know anyone skydived that early in the morning. What I did notice about this parachute falling from the sky is that it had a light attached to it, and it looked like a crate. I didn't think it was a person because the parachute itself wasn't guided. It was just free falling. So do I think caches are falling? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Bernie says the phones are numbered. They are. They know who has the government Obama phones, as I call them. The ones given out by Border Patrol that has your court date in it, your immigration court date, and your EBT card. Yeah. What I'm saying is there a likelihood of a coordinated attack? If it makes sense to you, it makes sense to me, but they can't do it in waves. They have to do it at one time because the first time you do it, remember, this is still America. So as soon as the first person coordinates an attack, you can't come back the second time around because now we're on a heightened sense of awareness. And this would be the first real life simulation of Call of Duty and Duck Hunt. So you're going to have to do it all at once. So what I'm saying to you right now is the next false flag event in America is going to be a coordinated attack. Excuse me, you're already seeing them. It started in Lewiston, Maine. It started with the derailments. It started with that gentleman who unalived himself in Colorado. It's happening. It's not random people. Don't think it is. It's happening. And as these protests get larger, the fights are going to break out. And as soon as the first bullet is fired on a group of people of one group, it's going to go from there. And don't forget that the budget is still on. We're coming up, them 45 days, we're inside of a week right now. We're inside of a week. Now they got to talk about the deadline again. And they're not talking about the government shutdown right now, are they? No. What are they talking about? The Gaza conflict. If you don't think there's going to be a stalemate, Mike Johnson is not going to allow them to package Ukraine and Israel together. Ukraine's going to have to ask for a ceasefire and end it and give up Ukraine, and they're going to fund Israel. They've already scheduled $14.6 billion for them. They've already slated that for them. So the Israeli war takes precedence over the Ukraine war. You know, and as everyone said in the Middle East, America, you need to back off. If you don't, there won't be a line that we won't cross. The only line left is us. That's the only line left. It's us. All I can say is be prepared. I'm going to do a security one too. I'm going to do a security live for you guys. You know, we're going to do a preppers live soon. Maybe Wednesday. I think I might slate that for Wednesday and do a preppers live. Steve says it started with the false flag in Israel. It will come home again. Yeah, it's coming here. It has no choice because that's not the real Israel. There's a real Israel. It damn sure ain't over there. You're about to find out some real historical facts that's going to blow a lot of minds in America in the next year or so about the Grand Canyon, about the real Babylon, and about the real land of Canaanites and the real land of Canaan. You're about to find out some history that no one really knew. It's coming home. Chickens are coming home to roost, people. The chickens are home to roost. They're roosting. It's here. So I'll leave you with that tonight. I thank you for coming on. Before I leave, feel free to donate, send stars, like, share. I'm on Telegram, the Daily Rabbit Hole. The TikTok is still pumping, baby. You can't get rid of the Daily Rabbit Hole. I'm here. We're not going nowhere. All right? Instagram, Daily Rabbit Hole. Backup page on Facebook, The Backwoods. The main page, The Daily Rabbit Hole 2.0. Rumble, The Daily Rabbit Hole. Don't forget to donate. Don't forget to send stars. Don't forget to like and share. Hit me up. Send me emails. Be smart. Be vigilant, people. Keep your head on a swivel. It's going to be a dark winter. We'll get through it. Why? Because this is America. We always get through this shit. That's just what we do. All right? You guys have a good night. Be safe. Be smart. It's the Daily Rabbit Hole.